Hello, dear people. Hello, curious travelers. Today I will tell you about another visit of mine to the Balkans, the legacy of the unknown civilization of the Varna Necropolis. From the sands of time, evidence and artifacts continue to emerge that make us reflect on which civilization was truly the more ancient one. Questions still remain. Gold was the first metal that attracted humankind during the Chalcolithic, Copper, Stone Age. It was probably the shine of the native nuggets among the river stones that captivated people. Humanity reached out and touched the sun with its own hands. Those hands wished to create and opened a new chapter in human history. Soft gold was not suitable for making tools, but pieces of another shining metal, copper, proved to be an excellent material for crafting implements. Using them skillfully, ancient craftsmen learned to work gold, transforming it into part of themselves and their adornments. Through it, they deified themselves, and in time, clothed in the solar metal, they departed toward their radiant realms in the clouds. The Chalcolithic Necropolis, discovered near Varna Lake in 1972, proves the existence of an ancient civilization that flourished here 800 years before the Sumerian civilization. This unknown people left our lands for reasons still unknown, but they left behind the oldest worked gold in the world and the oldest copper tools. The discovery of the Varna Necropolis is one of the great archaeological discoveries on a global scale because it pinpoints the location of the development of human civilization and demonstrates that it emerged precisely here, in the region of present-day Bulgaria and parts of modern Romania and Moldova. It is a fact that only in Varna has such an abundance of worked gold, copper tools, and other valuable grave goods been discovered. All this proves that the unknown culture that flourished during this period had its center here, by the waters of the Varna Lakes. Another interesting fact is that our ancient ancestors feared the sea. Their dwellings were situated at least a kilometer away from the shoreline. Perhaps they had good reason to fear it, if legends and songs preserved the memory of a great flood that had claimed the lives of their forebears. Research by world-renowned oceanographers has shown that the waters of the Mediterranean Sea overflowed through the Bosporus and transformed what had once been a freshwater lake into today's Black Sea. 8,000 years ago, the level of the ocean and the Mediterranean Sea was about 80-90 meters higher than that of the freshwater lake located here, which today is our salty sea. Its shoreline was once approximately 60 kilometers east of Varna's beach at depths of 9,100 meters below the present sea level. People must have lived along that shore 8,000 years ago. If we estimate a generation at around 40 years, then there are only about 200 generations between them and us, which is quite relatable in human terms. We assume that a civilization existed around the shores of the Black Sea lake at that time. Prof. Petko Dimitrov, oceanographer from Varna. In one of humanity's oldest literary works, written more than 700 years ago, an anonymous Babylonian author recounts the story of the Great Flood. During part of his Odyssey, after enduring many trials, The hero Gilgamesh crosses the Sea of Death and meets Utnapishtim, the only human granted immortality. Utnapishtim tells the story of the flood which he himself witnessed. The god Enki appeared to him and warned him of the coming catastrophe. The immortal man was bound to keep silent before the rest of humanity. He destroyed his home, built an ark, and saved his family, as well as samples of plants and animals. Perhaps this ancient epic describes the event and explains the fear of the prehistoric people who lived by the Black Sea. Other questions also arise. Where exactly did the flood described in the Bible take place? On the northern shore of Varna Lake there were 8 settlements with pile dwellings built on land. Their inhabitants wore plant-based clothing, primarily linen, which they dyed with pigments. The color red held special significance. The dead were buried in red garments, some with red hats, and lumps of red pigment were placed among the grave goods. Looms have been discovered in the settlements around the lake. The people knew weaving and made clothing from goat and sheep wool. Their vessels featured elegant curves and gold decoration, reflecting abstract thought and expression through forms and colors. A large golden plate discovered in the Varna Necropolis depicts not only the 4 seasons, but also the cycle of human life, birth, life, death, and rebirth in the afterlife. But why was the center of this civilization located precisely in Varna? The answer lies in a large prehistoric mound situated above the salt deposits of Privadia. Salt, so essential to human life, was difficult to obtain but absolutely vital. In Privadia, however, it existed in extraordinary abundance. Archaeologists have uncovered tons of fragments from clay vessels used to extract salt through evaporation and mold it into blocks. These white blocks were loaded onto rafts along the navigable Privadia River and transported to the rulers living by the lakes. Salt, which made its owners immensely wealthy, was actually used as one of the earliest forms of money. Gold became a universal equivalent much later. It is logical to conclude that constant struggles were fought over it. The Privadia Salt Mound preserves information about events from 500 years ago. It was surrounded by a strong stone wall and a highly sophisticated defensive system that included a deep moat. Excavations there continue today under the leadership of Professor Vezel Nikolov. It is believed that the Varna Necropolis was used for about 200 years at the end of the 5th millennium BC, dating from approximately 4400 to 4200 BC. Within an area of 7,500 square meters, archaeologists have uncovered 294 individual graves. More than 3,000 gold objects weighing over 6 kilograms in total have been found there. The amount of gold discovered worldwide from this period cannot compare to the gold found in just one of the Varna graves. The necropolis contains an extraordinary variety of copper objects and tools, gold ornaments, gilded vessels, and decorations made from minerals such as marble, quartz, and kaolin, as well as from the beautiful shells of Mediterranean mollusks, spondylus and dentalium. These materials were extremely valuable during that era. Archaeologists classify the graves into 4 categories. Some contain extended skeletons, such as grave 43, where a leader or priest of this coastal community was most likely buried. In his right hand was a scepter, a symbol of supreme authority. To his left were the golden fittings of a 2-meter long bow with a draw weight of around 50 kilograms, requiring tremendous strength to use. The man's body and garments were adorned with numerous gold appliques, including a gold phallus symbolizing fertility and masculine power. This ancient spiritual leader departed for the afterlife carrying the tools he had used in life: a copper axe, hammer, adze chisel, awl, and 2 spearheads. His equipment also included 3 flint knives. One of them was especially valuable and was likely used in rituals. The man was about 50 years old and approximately 180 centimeters tall. What might this distant ancestor have looked like? Anthropology provides an answer by reconstructing faces from preserved skull bones. Before us emerges a handsome, powerful, and striking face, opening its eyes after millennia of sleep beneath the earth. The inventory of grave goods is extraordinarily rich and demonstrates the existence of social classes and ranks, with each member having a specific role. Their status carried over into the afterlife, as evidenced by the arrangement of the necropolis. The high-ranking individuals were buried in the center, while poorer people were placed on the periphery. Besides graves containing extended skeletons, the Varna Necropolis also includes burials of women and children placed in a contracted, fetal position known as a hawker burial. Particularly fascinating are the symbolic burials, graves without bodies. In some of them, grave goods were arranged as if adorning a human body, even though no body was present. Grave 36 is one such example. Even more intriguing and mysterious are the graves containing human faces, masks made of unfired clay. They have no known parallels. Nothing similar has been discovered elsewhere in world history. Due to pressure from the soil, the gold ornaments shifted slightly, but the eyes and mouth are still clearly visible, with tiny gold pins representing teeth. The forehead of the clay face is decorated with a diadem, and its pierced ears bear earrings. The decoration is completed with a pendant. Who were these distant people? How did they live, and why did they disappear? To gain a clearer picture, we must turn the clock back to the last century and begin the story with the first excavation in the industrial zone of Varna, where an unexpected message for the future lay buried. Like a bottle drifting through the waves of time, it floated until one day. In the autumn of 1972, in the western industrial zone of Varna, excavator operator Rayko Marinov came upon a strange discovery. Beneath the bucket of his excavator, unusual objects gleamed before his eyes. He gathered them and, unsure what to do, placed them in the box that had contained a new pair of shoes he had purchased that very day. Carrying the priceless treasure, he headed home, completely unaware that inside the paper box rattled the most precious objects imaginable, the first gold ornaments ever created by human hands. That evening, he returned to his home in the village of Chenj, today's Asparuhovo near the town of Daugavpil. He showed the objects to his father, who had often participated in archaeological excavations organized by the local museum. His father immediately realized that the discovery was something very important. The two men promptly went to historian Dimitar Zlatarov. Upon seeing the objects, the historian was overwhelmed with excitement. This was prehistoric gold, something discovered only rarely and in small quantities. Yet before him stood an entire box filled with prehistoric treasures. Thus began the unraveling of the Golden Fleece. Thus began the story of the first tale written by our ancient ancestors. It tells of the earliest beginnings of writing, of myths and legends connected with Odessos. Together we will turn page after page and read the odysseys of our Chalcolithic ancestors, how they lived, how they mined gold, how they worked it, and how they journeyed toward the gods clothed in its radiance.